Hey there, everybody, and welcome back to Vinyl Talk with Tavis. And I'm Tavis. And this is Jimmy Mack. Say hello to all of my subscribers, Jimmy Mack. Can you say hello? No, he can't, but he's purring. Oh, look at that. Oh, thumbnail. He is so precious, I tell you. You brought me so much joy these past 30 days. I bought him I adopted him, on December the 4th. And he's grown and he is just such a joy. Well, it's good to see all of you, and I hope that you are having a great year so far. 2022 is here, and Happy New Year to everybody. I'm so glad that you are watching. I'm glad to be here with you. And first, let me start by saying that I am doing a contest. I'm doing a vinyl contest called Animals on the Cover. And all you have to do is submit a video showing 5 or more album covers that have animals or insects on them. That's all you have to do. And please let me know in my previous video that talks about the contest. Let me know in the comments that you have submitted a video or that you've uploaded a video, and I will comment to let you know that I am putting it in a playlist so that I can make sure that I have everyone down. So please check my playlist. I think it's public, and so everyone can see it. And check and see if your video is there. But again, Happy New Year to everybody. And this video is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to be doing some reactions. I'm going to try something a little different this year. And I think I found a way to get around some copyright strikes or whatever they call it. But I want to be able to let you hear the music and see my reaction to how much I love this music. Because I went to Fort Smith, Arkansas, and I visited one of my favorite record stores there called River Valley Records and Collectibles. And it's in this great little shop called Shops at Brick City. And I had a chance to interview the general manager while I was there. It was just on a whim. She happened to see me respond so happily when I found a record that I've been looking for months. And I want to show you right now. And have you ever heard of the word serendipity? Now, this is Foster Silvers, and he was part of the group called the Silvers. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he's the second to the youngest of the group, the Silvers. They did great hits called Hotline, the High School Dance. Does this not just scream 70s? Look at that. That is so marvelous. And I have been looking for this. I was going on eBay. I was going on Discogs, and some of those folks were selling this album in VG condition for like $100 and something. So speaking about serendipity, going back to that word, it's when you're thinking about something and you're trying to really, you want it to be in your life, and then all of a sudden you come upon it and it's there. It's like, I was just thinking about how much I wanted this record, and it wasn't something that I had to dig for. It was right there. When I walked to that store, within that big space that has many stores, I went to that record section and there it was. I'm like, oh my God. And the owner of that shop, his name is Brandon. So Brandon, if you're watching, thank you for finding this and selling this for like $12. It is in wonderful condition. And the reason why I love this album so much is because, first of all, I love the group, the Silvers, which include all of his brothers and sisters. And he branched out and did a solo project, very very much like, he sounds like Michael Jackson, even looks like him. You know, that's the way music is. When something is popular, people want to make something else just like it so that they can, you know, get the money as well. But this young man at this time in 1973 sounds just like Michael Jackson. But this song, Misdemeanor, which is the first cut on this album, you see that? Misdemeanor. The song has been sampled many times. It was sampled by a group called the DOC in the hip hop style of music because it has a wonderful bass line. And I want you to check this out. So I'm going to be doing a reaction to his performance on Soul Train. I want you to watch. So I'm going to sit back and I want you to see. Listen to the bass line. Man, it is so cool. And I think at the time he was like 11, 10, I don't know. But he has two sisters, his two sisters, older sisters, singing with him. So let's check this out, okay? You're going to love it. I think you will. Hear that bass line? It's so 70s. And I was 1 year old at the time. Hear that bass? So this is Soul Train in 1973. Hey! Ain't that a jam? Yes, that is a cut. Everybody, this is an album. Well, honestly, I believe that that's the best song on the album. The rest of it is good, but that one song really stands out. 1973, Foster Silvers. So wonderful. Now he's like in his 50s now, and I think he does concerts and with his sisters, and they redo the song. But just thinking about the 70s and those times, and just, I always say that if I could be this age and go back to the 70s, I would. I just wish I was this age in the 70s. I say that all the freaking time. But I found that at that wonderful record shop. The next album I have is, who remembers this lovely lady? Kim Carnes. This is her album called Mistaken Identity. It came out in 1981. And can you guess what song really took off? She's got Betty Davis eyes. She'll unease you. She'll appease you. I mean, that is such a jam. Kim Carnes. I think she's in her 70s now. But, you know, I had never listened to this entire album. And I had a chance to do that yesterday. And every song is great. There's some very good tunes on here. There's even one song on here, I believe is called When I'm Away From You. It kind of has a soulful feel, and I love Draw the Cards. Every song, I enjoy every song on this album. And I never listened to the entire album. I just knew her for Betty Davis Eyes. And I love that song too. So this is worth having. Kim Carnes, Mistaken Identity. Now, in the same shop, I found this. Now, I love me some Little Richard. And when I got it, I thought it was just a compilation of his hits. And this album is called Cast a Long Shadow. And, you know, it's pretty used. But the album, or the albums, because it's a double LP set, awesome condition. One thing about River Valley Records and Collectibles is that his records are always in awesome condition. And the pains that he goes to find records, he goes into places in which people are hoarders and they have big, gigantic record collections. And he just finds what he thinks will sell. And this is actually a concert. And I didn't know it. And he is in such good voice on here. So I would highly recommend Little Richard, Cast a Long Shadow, to hear him singing live all of his hits. Good Golly Miss Molly, Whole Lot of Shaking Going On, Long Tall Sally, Tutti Frutti, Lucille. It's so great to hear him. Now, there's a guy that's on my Instagram page, and he is from Russia. And I'm not going to say your name right. Is it Daniel? Okay. I know I've said your name wrong. Lord, please forgive me. Please forgive me. But he told me that I had not shown a record that I bought, because I did a review on the movie about Aretha Franklin, which features and stars Jennifer Hudson. But I did get the record. I got the soundtrack. Respect. And if you don't have this, I guarantee that if you did, you won't regret it. You will not regret it. So it's a double LP set, and it features the music of Jennifer Hudson singing the Aretha Franklin songs that she does in the show. Oh, that's mighty dirty. I need to clean that up before I play it again. But it is so worth having, because that movie, if you see my review of the movie, I remember vividly, I cried throughout that film, because there are some great scenes in this movie. So if you haven't seen it, stream it, or I don't know if it's still in the movie theaters at this time, and this is January the 3rd, 2022. I highly recommend watching that film. The cat is zooming everywhere. I highly recommend watching this film and buying this soundtrack. Now, I think there are some colored vinyl variations out there, but I just got the black, and I'm cool with it. But this is an awesome double LP set of the soundtrack of Respect, the movie, giving homage to Aretha Franklin. Now, in that shop again at River Valley Records and Collectibles in Fort Smith, Arkansas. I keep saying that because if you're ever in Fort Smith, Arkansas, check that place out. I think I own this, but I don't have this cover. But this is Amy Grant, Unguarded. And, this came out in 1985. 1985 had some wonderful, wonderful music back then. I mean, man, when I look and listen to music that I just pull out for the heck of it, and I look at the year it was out, it was like 85. I'm like, wow, all the music I love, really, really love, and just play and listen to over and over is from 1985. So this is Amy Grant's Unguarded album, and I remember when I fell in love. I fell in love with Amy Grant when she made the video Love Will Find a Way. Actually, it's just called Find a Way. Love will find a way. Love will find a way. I know it's hard to see the past and still believe love will really find a way. Da-da, da-da. I just love that transition from the chorus, and it goes to the verse, and it just changes keys. What a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful chord progression and a key change. I was so in love with that song. And I love Love One of the Kind, which is the first song. And I love Everywhere I Go, and Wise Up. Remember that? So if you are an Amy Grant fan, I mean, of course you know about this. And of course she was scandalized and criticized and all those things because of how she went out, and she really went contemporary with this record and records afterwards. And remember her album that I think just recently had a big celebration, Heart in Motion. Remember that? With Baby Baby. So Amy, she went through some serious crap when she put out this music. But now it's like, it's worth it. The music is so good. So this is Amy Grant, Unguarded. I'm glad to have as many copies as I have. I'm glad to have this cover. I just think it's cute. Her and her wonderful leopard jacket. Amy, if you're watching, Amy Grant, Amy, if you're watching, mwah. You know, she recently had some heart surgery, and she's doing pretty good. And I follow her on Instagram, and she recently did some concerts celebrating her Heart in Motion album, and did all those songs again. And she did say that she had to lower the keys because she can't sing that high again. And I think she also did a Christmas show, I believe, with Michael W. Smith, who's another great gospel artist. So it's good to know that she's alive and well and still doing concerts. I've never seen her in concert, but her music is just etched in wax, and so we have it to celebrate. Next, when I was in college, I fell madly in love with jazz music because it helped me to understand chords. And I was a gospel pianist as a teenager. So I was playing all these chords because gospel and jazz kind of goes hand in hand, if you will. There's some, especially the contemporary gospel, the way that we add these extra notes, and we add major sevenths and flat ninths and sharp 11ths. And if you're a musician and understand those things, you know what I'm talking about. But I fell in love with jazz really, really deeply in college, and I heard about the Manhattan Transfer, and our group that I was in, called the NSU Entertainers, was a complete jazz group. It was a vocal jazz group, a cappella with some band, but mostly a cappella. And we did a lot of Manhattan Transfer. So this album, which is called Brazil, is such, to me, I think is my favorite Manhattan Transfer album. And this album came out in 1987. And the music, this album and the music really branches out from what they normally did in the past. They mostly did like traditional jazz, and they did Lease, which is a style of singing music that takes the original jazz song, and the singers use their voice to mimic the instruments from the original recording, and they use words to mimic the instruments that were originally played. So like if there's a song that goes and it's very famous, then they would take that melody and put words to it. So it would be so again it's so someone would write the lyrics and say, we should go Jimmy Mackey's a great little cat. I said, Jimmy Mackey's a cat. Jimmy Mackey's a great little cat. I said, Jimmy Mackey's a cat. You know what I'm saying? So that's what Vocalise is. So they're known for that, but this branches them out into singing Brazilian music. And one of the great arrangers of the music, his name is, it has escaped me. Please forgive me, but it's him. His name is, I think, is Djavan. I could be so wrong. Jovin, a great Brazilian singer-songwriter. And one of the songs that he does on here with the Manhattan Transfer is called Capim. But this album, okay, Soul Food to Go is awesome. And there's a video with that song, an official music video that came out in 87. So You Say. So You Say. I don't know if you all are familiar with Manhattan Transfer. I really am, because we had to sing it in college. I don't think we sang any songs from here, from this album. But I love every song on this record. Every song. And Janice Siegel, every member is great, but Janice Siegel, I mean, she really sings. And Tim Hauser, may he rest in peace. He's no longer with us, but another gentleman has taken his place. But he and Janice were the two that I believe got the group together, and they've been singing for a long time. They're still singing now, and it's so good to know that they are. So, and here's another album by Manhattan Transfer that I really love. This is my second favorite. This is the Vocal Lease album, which is totally dedicated to using lyrics to mimic the actual recordings of solo instruments. So on here they have Killer Joe. They have, do you remember, this was really popular on the radio back in 1985. See, there we go again. 1985. I just love 85. Ray's Rock House, that's my joint. House of Soul, get my point. We don't care what's your blues. Come in here, get your shoes. Just come when trouble comes a knocking. Everything looks better while you're rocking. You don't know the trouble while you're rocking. Rock, let's rock. That's what we want you to do. Let's rock. We sang that song so much in college. It was me and 3 other people. We had a quartet and we sang that everywhere. We were good too. But this is a great album. And it features Jon Hendricks. I'm not going to say a word. Do you know Jon Hendricks? Jon Hendricks was part of a group. It was a trio, a jazz trio. And put in the comments if you know who Jon Hendricks is. If you do, I'll be very glad that you do. He's a very famous jazz singer with a group of 2 other people who happen to be white. So he was like the only black in the group. And they sang jazz music and they were phenomenal. So they got with Jon Hendricks and said, can you help us make some words that go along with these famous songs? Ray's Rock House is actually a song by Ray Charles. And they do A Night in Tunisia featuring Bobby McFerrin. Oh my God. So wonderful. This album, I think this is their ultimate album. If you want to get to know the Manhattan Transfer, this is the album to get. But my favorite is Brazil. But this is my second favorite. And this is, I believe, what really showcases them to the utmost. It really gets you to know who they are. Okay, and I have one more, and I'm done. I happen to, look at that. This is the soundtrack to the movie Lilies of the Field with Sidney Poitier. Are you familiar with this movie? What a movie. Sidney Poitier was the first black man to win the Academy Award for his performance in this movie. I love this movie so much. And see, The Nuns. So if you're not familiar with this movie, it's about a man, Sidney Poitier, and he's driving along and his car is giving him some trouble. And he happens upon a place where there are some nuns. And the main nun, she wants a chapel built. And she feels like God has sent Sidney Poitier to build the chapel. But all he wants is to put some water in his car. So she tells him, God has sent you to help me build a chapel. He says, no, God has not told you to tell me to build a chapel. I just came here to get some water. And he drives off. And then he thinks about it and comes back and says, well, maybe they can give me some money because I need a little cash. He says, well, maybe I can do just a little stuff. And he ends up doing more and more. And they give him a lot of guilt trip. They give him a lot of guilt trips. And he stays. And it's just a great, fun, feel-good movie to let you know that faith is good. Faith without works is dead, as the scripture says. And so this is a great, great, great soundtrack. Now, it features the main song called Amen. And that song was written by Jester Hairston, who happened to be, he's a composer, or he was a composer, a songwriter. He wrote that song, and he was a singer. And he was also a deacon on the famous, wonderful sitcom called Amen back in the late 80s, I believe. But he's known mostly, as a composer and a songwriter. He was also in a movie with Sidney Poitier called In the Heat of the Night. Do you remember that? And he was the butler. And there's a scene in which Sidney Poitier is confronting a man about possibly doing something wrong. And Jester Hairston is the butler. And let's just watch. Let's just watch. We're going to do a reaction. Let's watch this.
Let me understand this. You two came here to question me?
Well, your attitudes, Mr. Endicott, your points of view are a matter of record. Some people, well, let us say the people who work for Mr. Colbert might reasonably regard you as the person least likely to mourn his passing.
Sidney Poitier is so great.
We were just trying to clarify some of the evidence. Was Mr. Colbert ever in this greenhouse, say last night?
Now see the butler? Oh! Woo! That was the first slap of a black man slapping a white man on television.
You saw it.
In movies.
I saw it. Well, what are you going to do about it? I don't know.
This is a serious movie, y'all.
I remember that.
This was something. This was something. That was when Sidney Poitier slapped that man back. It was really, really something that people were not expecting. I think this was like in the 60s, okay? And wow, that's why it's called the slap. It was heard around the world. The first time a black man ever responded and slapped a white man on film. Because, back then, blacks were just considered slaves. We were, working in the fields. We were the butlers, just like Jester Hairston. Did you see Jester Hairston, the one who wrote Amen? He wrote the song, and he also does the voice of singing Amen in the movie Lilies of the Field. That was him as the butler, Jester Hairston. But Sidney Poitier, he always played these very, very dignified characters. And it was said, or it's been said, that Sidney Poitier wanted that to be in the film. He didn't want just to be slapped. He wanted to have a sincere reaction. If someone slaps you in the face, you're going to get revenge. Just slap them right back. And that white man was like, There was a time when I could have had you shot. Man, aren't you glad to live in 2022? I mean, we have a long way to go, but we've come a long way. Everybody, I'm hoping that this video is good. This is the first time I've ever done anything like this, so I hope that you have enjoyed it. I also want to thank a dear friend. His name is Chance. He sent me this as VCLT. This is Charles Bradley, Victim of Love. I have yet to listen to this. Oh my God. I have yet to listen. So thank you so much, Chance. He's a dear friend who lives in St. Louis. And hopefully I'm going to get down there to St. Louis and visit him and his family. And we're going to go out and go to a museum, I believe. And Chance, if you're watching, thank you so much. So much has been going on. I tell you, I've just been relaxing and resting. I don't know about y'all. I am just worn out. And today was a snow day because we had snow on Saturday. Was it Saturday? Yeah, we had snow on Saturday. It remained cold on Sunday, and we couldn't go to school today because the temperatures were too low. But we'll be back tomorrow. So, everybody, I hope that you are doing great. I love you so much. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, with music, be inspired and stay inspired.